Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel Wraparound Life. I hope you're doing well. Today I've got a lovely catch-up video for you. I'm in the middle of decorating my bedroom and we popped around to Dunelm and they've pretty much got 50% off, seems like everything. So I'm going to share with you the bargains that I got around there and the plans that I've got for my bedroom. And we've been invited to one of my oldest friends' 30th wedding anniversary parties, so I want to show you the outfit that I've got planned to wear for that. And I've got some footage of Mum and I going to a local garden centre and the couple of bits and bobs that we bought for that. Interestingly as well, I had a routine dentist appointment this week, which then led to a second opinion dentist appointment that I want to share with you. And also I've been contacted by 2 different companies to collaborate with them, and I just want to run it past you guys to see how you feel and whether it would be of any interest to you. So if this is of interest, please do stick around, grab yourselves a cuppa, let's crack on. But I feel alive with you. Take it. Okay, just briefly, this is my bedroom. This used to be Herbie's bedroom. The wardrobes were here when he was here. He had the bed in a different placement. I've put it here because I really do like seeing the bed when I walk in, but really it's not practical because I haven't got bedside cabinets to put my book. My book's sort of propped up on the bed and on the mattress there. This tall unit here is going to go into the box room once that's cleared. We've got a triple window aspect over the south facing garden, and then that's an original built-in cupboard that we keep our towels etc in, and then that's my dressing table. So I'm thinking of moving that to in front of the window during the summer months, and then potentially on this back wall here where these Chester drawers are at the moment, but like I say, they're going to go in the little bedroom. So yeah, so that's the plan, is to move the bed. This bed linen is actually 100% linen, so I got it in a white set. I have got white pillowcases as well, but I saw them in the pale blue, so I thought I'd buy them in pale blue as well. So I've got a change, and then I've got the continental linen covers as well there. The eagle-eyed among you will spot that Sophie's on the front cushion, and then on the reverse is another photo of me and Sophie when she was just days old, when she came out of the hospital. Also, the eagle-eyed among you would have seen this pink dress in the corner. So this is the dress that I'm going to wear to my friend's 30th wedding anniversary party. I did wear this to my nephew's 21st birthday party last year, May 2025, and I got quite a few compliments when wearing it. And I've only worn it the once, so I thought I'm going to wear that for the party. So if I've got some footage of me getting ready for the party with that on, if I remember, I will insert it here. Let me turn you around and I'll sit next to my bed and we'll talk about what's been going on of late. Okay, so with regard to the bedroom, I don't know whether you know much about the house. I will have to do a house tour on one occasion, but it's a 1930s semi-detached house. When we moved in, it needed everything doing to it, but since then we've had a kitchen extension and a loft extension, and the room that I'm currently in now used to be Herbie's bedroom, but for years he's been badgering us about swapping, because Brian and I were up in the loft space, and so last February he asked to swap bedrooms, which we did. And to be honest with you, it's been an absolute nightmare since. He's all settled all up there. He absolutely loves it. But the issue was we had furniture that fitted everywhere quite nicely, and now we've got things that are just in random places and it doesn't fit and it doesn't suit. And it's just left us all sort of up in the air. And we're only really now coming round to decorating and sorting things out. But anyway, we're in a 4-bedroom house and there's only 3 of us in here. So Brian and Brian snores, to be honest. I fidget a lot. So we just thought, well, we've got 4 bedrooms, why don't we just have a bedroom each? So I'm now in Herbie's old bedroom, and we've still got the old navy blue curtains. So when planning the decorating, I thought I really want to incorporate those because it will save me money on paying out for new curtains. So I was looking at dormer wallpapers because they seem to have really nice quality, and I'd already ordered a sample and I really liked it, and just by chance Mum and I happened to go into the Canterbury store, and they've got their dormer wallpaper for 50% off. Not all of them, but a lot of them, and this one I really liked anyway. I already had the sample, and it was £25 down to £12.50, and I thought, oh my god, that's a no-brainer. So we bought 7 rolls. I'm hoping that'll be enough for the whole room. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Brian's already painted the ceiling, the picture rail, and he's already lined the walls. So sort of the sort of base of the decorating is already done, so it is literally now just putting the wallpaper up. However, we've got to try and work out how we're going to move these big wardrobes out. Obviously we've got to empty them and then try and wiggle them out of the alcoves. But yes, that's not going to be enjoyable process, but it will happen. And then whilst we were looking around, Brian was in the because I went the next day with Brian to show him the wallpaper, and so then we bought the wallpaper, and he was looking around in there. It's like a little bin of oddments that are like literally pennies, and he found these 2 curtain tie, and they're magnetic, and 75p for curtain tie backs. So we've got those. So I was very impressed. Now the other project that I want to tell you about that will be going forward throughout the summer is painting UPVC. Now we got this tin of paint, UPVC paint, and it's natural charcoal. It's like it's like black, and it's matte. Now it was £30 down to 15, which is a phenomenal buy, because in B&Q it's still £30. So we bought what was there. They had 4 tins, and the reason behind that is the back of the house, the windows are new, because where we'd done the extension and the loft conversion, we had all the windows done, but the front of the house are the original windows. And if I'm honest, excuse me, it's the coffee that I'm drinking, and if I'm honest, I'm not loving the white. And there's been a few houses in the area where they've gone for dark window frames, and I'm really liking that look. But we can't afford to have the windows done at the moment anyway. But I was just thinking it'd be quite nice to see how the dark would look without paying out and then regretting it. So the fact that that paint was half price, I just thought, oh, that's a sign. So so we bought all 4 tins. So over the summer, I'm going to be bringing you along with me. I'm going to be washing down the window sills and door frames, and then apparently you can just paint straight onto it. You just need to wipe it clean, dry it, and then you can paint over it. So we'll be going on that journey together. Then the next thing that we did was Mum and I went to a garden centre. It is an expensive one. I think it's the most expensive one in our area. We had a cup of tea in there, and we had a mooch around. But the only thing that I purchased in there was the fish blood and bone plant feed that one of you kind lovely viewers recommended that I buy. And then another viewer, Kathy, she's messaged me a couple of times about the garden and the rose that I was telling you about on the previous video, or the previous one to that, about Sophie's rose plants, and that I was debating whether to put it in the roundabout. And she came up with a really good idea find a stick or, you know, a broomstick and poke that down into the earth to see how far down it goes, which I thought was a brilliant idea. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that. But I haven't done it yet because the weather has been horrendous. So we've had scorching hot, you know, weather, and now it's been, you know, absolute downpour of rain. So I believe next week's going to be a bit calmer, a bit nicer. So I will investigate that and do that. And then hopefully, if the roundabout's deep enough, I'm going to move Sophie's plant to there. So that'll be a job for next week, that if I go ahead with that, I will film that and tell you how I get on with that. What else? Oh, the dentist. I went for a routine checkup at my dentist on Monday. It's an NHS dentist, but it's super plush. It's like really modern. Looks like you're going into, like, you know, some sort of spaceship. Anyway, I went in because the past couple of weeks my tooth has been hurting. And so in my head, I thought, I just need to fill in. So I went in to see him, and he said, how you been? And I haven't seen him since my dad passed away, and, you know, me going in hospital. So I told him all of that. And I said to him, my tooth's hurting and I think I need a filling. So he just immediately just focused on that. He didn't really do a checkup on the rest of my teeth. He just focused on that tooth. He done 4 x-rays, and he said, you need a cap on that tooth. And I was thinking, what? And then he said it, and it's £800. I nearly fell off the chair. I was like, £800? I said, I'm a housewife. I can't afford that. And so he said, oh, we've got a 0% interest finance and da 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 da. And I was just thinking, no, this just, no. So I come back, I spoke with Mum, and she said, go and get a second opinion. Which just so happens, we've literally got a private dental practice literally 5 minutes away. I don't even think it's 5 minutes walk away. And it's one of those buildings, and it's set in one of the old period houses. But it's one of those buildings I've just walked past for absolute years, and I know it's there, but I didn't really register it. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so I phoned them up and I said, could you fit me in for a second opinion? And they said, yeah, but it's £50. I thought, oh God. So I tapped onto ChatGPT and I said, is that normal price? And they said, yeah, for a second opinion. So I thought, fair enough, 50 quid against 800, I'll take my chances. So the next day, on the Tuesday, I went to the private practice and I saw this lovely, I think she's Japanese lady, and she was so thorough. What a difference. Like, it was like night and day, like the difference between the two dentists. So she did a thorough check and she said, no, I don't think you need the cap. She said, I think your main problem is your gums. You're not looking after your gums properly. So she said, you definitely need to see a hygienist, and more than just once a year. She said, but I can see a hairline fracture in your tooth. She said, but unfortunately, potentially, it's either going to fall out or we're going to need to pull it out, your tooth. So I was thinking, well, I don't want to be paying out £800 on a cap that is on a tooth that potentially I'm going to have pulled out. So in a roundabout way, although it's still not brilliant, the news, at least I'm not paying out £800. So, and then I spoke to the receptionist and I said, do you take on NHS patients? And she said no. But she said they do a couple of plans, but the most popular one is you pay £19 a month and you have 2 dental checkups a year with 2 hygienist appointments. And when I added up what I pay at the NHS surgery against the private surgery, there was only £19 difference. So I would much prefer to go to the private practice rather than the NHS one, because I feel like it's a bit like the care home that my dad went in earlier on in the year. That the first one we went into, it looked marvellous, but the care was absolutely shocking. And then the Bupa one wasn't as nice as the first one, but the care was really, really good. So I'm thinking the same with this one, that, you know, the private dentist doesn't look all super duper and modern and, you know, high tech, but I really, really like the dentist. I feel like I've got more faith in her. So, and I can walk there, because the NHS dentist, I predominantly drive there. So that to me will be a win-win. So I'm going to do that. And also they do other plans where if I just wanted to do just the hygienist, I could do all of that. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna plump for the £19 a month plan, and then at least I'm gonna see a hygienist twice a year, because she said to me, you really, really need to look after that gum because it's receding. And she said, although it's not irreversible, she said you need to keep it at a level so that it, you know, you help your teeth, which I completely get. And, you know, I'm really, really going to emphasise to Herbie that he really does need to look after his teeth, because his gums are just so important. You only get one set, don't you? Sorry, the ring light has just switched off because it's connected to my laptop, and my laptop has run out of energy. So I do apologise about that. What I did want to say is I've started posting some little snippets of food preparations that I've started doing on Instagram and Facebook. So if that's of interest, please do go over and have a look at that. The other thing that I wanted to share with you was the collaborations. Halara has kindly reached out to me and offered me to do a collaboration with them. If that is of interest, please do comment down below that you'd be interested in seeing me try on some clothes from there. So I do know of Halara. I know that a lot of YouTubers have collaborated with them, and I really, really do like the look of their clothes. I've never had them before, so it'll be really, really interesting to see how the fit and everything is for me. The other collaboration is with a fitness company, and they're offering to send me an indoor fitness bike or a treadmill. They are quite expensive, but they've got like a screen on it, and they've got like an incline, an automatic incline, etc. to it. But I'm mindful that it is very, very expensive, and I don't know whether that would be of any interest to you, because obviously I want to start walking a lot more. I'm doing my Keep Fit videos every day, and I'm trying to get out walking, but for the past week I've hardly been out because the weather's been shocking. So actually having a treadmill would have been really, really quite handy. But I do want to run it past you because I don't want to be, you know, promoting something that is really not going to be of interest to you. So again, please do comment down below if you'd be interested in seeing me review a treadmill. Well, I think that's everything that I wanted to share with you, and I just wanted to say thank you for sharing a bit of your time with me. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you commenting. I appreciate your support. It really, truly does mean so much to me. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.